Okay, so, well, it's a lot of you. I don't really usually do presentations, so I'm really nervous. So, where's the clicker? Thank you. Oh, it's a green button. That looks helpful. All right, let's start. My name is Grzegorz, but people call me G, and please do so. I'm the CTO of Userfeeds, and today I'm going to tell you about Userfeeds Platform, so the software that we are building. But before I go to the Userfeeds Platform, I want to start with the problem statement and then a little bit of history of content discovery on the internet. Works. Nice. So for the problem statement, growing amounts of information in the world, in the internet, are making our attention precious resource. And it's really scarce resource because you have only 24 hours in a day of attention. If you sleep 8 hours, then you have 16. So it's a scarce resource. And the way we allocate our attention is really important for us because it influences our later decisions. So allocating our attention effectively is really, really important. And the filters and content discovery mechanisms that we are using currently on the internet are really not that good for us, as many events lately showed us. So what are those discovery mechanisms? And at the early stages of the internet, we only had web pages and links between them, and this was our main discovery mechanism. So you go to the web page, and then you have links, and you can discover new content through those links. So the responsibility for the content that you discovered on those pages was on the publisher side. So she decided what links to include on the web page that we can discover content with. Later came Google and read those links and allowed us to discover content through keyword searches. It's really very good feature, but unfortunately the algorithms that Google is using to show us the search results are hidden. Like you don't get to inspect them. You don't know what data they are exactly using and what are those algorithms right now. After Google came social networks, and social networks idea is that we should discover content through our social connections, so through our friends. Our feeds are filled with information that our friends and our relatives think is important, and we should pay attention to those. So again, here the algorithms and the data that are used inside social networks are not available to you, and you cannot inspect them. You don't know exactly how those algorithms works. Now, what we started to explore some time ago is what if we change people inside social networks with crypto identities, economic identities from the blockchain, so effectively addresses on the blockchain. And what if we allow those crypto identities to share information exactly as in social network, maybe not exactly, but as like in a social network? Could we design a content discovery mechanism based on those economic signals, on the crypto signals to discover content? Can we do that? And we started writing software, and we created Userfeeds Platform. And on a really high level, Userfeeds Platform is a really simple system. It ingests data from the one side, processes them, and makes them available on the other side. So that's a really simple concept, I think. For the data that go into Userfeeds Platform, there are of course blockchain data. We ingest accounts, token holdings, transactions, token transfers, all the stuff comes from Ethereum network because it's really potent in token information, and we base on that heavily. So we ingest those information inside our database, and then we also ingest second type of information. We call them claims. Maybe not the best name, but that's how we call them. And claims are cryptographically signed messages that I like to define them as a digital equivalent of pointing a finger at something. So if you could look at those pictures there, no one's looking. Shit, that doesn't work. Okay, but if you look there, I just redirected your attention to those paintings. And that's how claims are working on the internet. There are mechanisms to redirect attention from the crypto identity, so the account on the blockchain, to some identifier, URL, IPFS hash, or anything on the internet. Now, if we connect claims and blockchain data, economic data, we get a graph that allows us to look at the information on the internet in a really new ways, because there are new connections there. And for example, using this graph, I will be able to tell you how much crypto tokens, so ERC20 tokens, ethers, are on a given URL. And imagine if this information could be displayed on your Google search results when you're searching information on a given crypto project, and would that allow you to allocate your attention more effectively, like to better allocate your attention. Some more than data, but really quickly. Any public and private keeper can be auto-reclaimed as long as we have economic information that we can ingest in Userfeeds platform from any blockchain. We are blockchain agnostic. Can be now auto-reclaimed, and also almost anything can be a target of a claim. So we can put their URLs, IPFS hashes, random data, text, as long as there is an interface that is able to display this information properly and gather attention and redirect attention to the content behind those identifiers, it can be used with our system. Okay, so as an output of the Userfeeds platform, we didn't want developers to go all over the database and think of ways how is the best way to query them. So we designed really simple, plain old HTTP APIs for developers to use. We are also designing initial filtering algorithms that will allow those developers to effectively query the data and solve common problems that they are facing in displaying data based on economic information. For the developers that need to solve custom problems, we are planning to build the infrastructure for them to run their algorithms on our infrastructure so that they be able to use all the HTTP APIs that we are already prepared, but with their algorithms. Also, the database that we are gathering data currently will be open. Like, you will be able to download all the data, to download all the algorithms that we use and run it, all the stuff by yourself. We're working on that, but that's planned. And that was Userfeeds platform. And now I wanted to introduce you to the first product based on Userfeeds platform currently. It's called Link Exchange, and it's using Userfeeds platform APIs as its backend to solve advertisement problem that exists on the internet. You can play with it already on rinkaby.etherscan.io. It's working on Rinkaby testnet and on Ropsten testnet, so you can play with it if you have some Rinkaby tokens or Ropsten tokens. And what Link Exchange is, I don't know if you see this properly, it allows publishers of websites to install, to implement on their websites this simple widget that allows people visiting their websites to buy placement by links on this widget using crypto tokens. So if you have Rinkaby right now token, you can go to Etherscan and buy a link there. You can put your link there. But not only that, this widget also, if you click on the if you click on this sponsored by Ethereum icon, you can see exactly who is buying from this publisher, who wants your attention, and how much he paid for your attention, and when he did that. And all this stuff is transparent. You can inspect that. Also, this will be in database, so you'll be able to inspect that also. All right, that was Userfeeds Platform and link exchange, so thank you very much.
Thank you, G.
Yeah.
I think we have time for 1 or 2 questions, more even. So anyone has some questions for Userfeeds?
Yeah. Okay. No questions.
I have a question.
Okay.
So you guys are basically scraping or hosting your own nodes of every blockchain?
We are running our own nodes. Currently, we're getting all the data that are there on Ethereum mainnet, Rinkeby, Ropsten, and soon Kovan also testnets. Yeah, so we are happy.
And currently, basically, there's somewhere a notion of IPDB. I was wondering where that's used.
Yeah, we are planning to integrate IPDB as a source, exactly as we do with Ethereum. Right now, we started with Ethereum because it's really, really potent in tokens, and tokens for us are community bonding mechanisms. Yeah. So if you want to communicate with your community, you can do that with Userfeeds Platform, and that's really, really important. So we started with Ethereum because there are a lot of tokens on that. But IPDB is in the pipeline, and you will be able to use IPDB-based tokens or assets to communicate information and back them with your assets on IPDB.
All right. And maybe another question. Oh, there is even a question from the audience.
There is a few. Oh, questions.
Hello? Hi. So I'm curious, like, how are you guys planning to build the initial usage for the exchange, the link exchange platform? So what's the intrinsic value for the website operator to switch from Google AdSense to your system at this point in time?
Well, one of those is transparency. One is that you are getting paid. If you're a publisher in a crypto space, and people visiting your site are mainly people holding the token or coin that your website is about, then there is a high chance that advertisers targeting by economic means, not by social, age, gender, all this stuff on Google, would want to target those population economically. So it's a new targeting mechanism for advertisers and for publishers, because advertisers will probably want to target economically some communities, will be able to earn money on that. And then for users that see the advertisement on the web page about coin, they know that the coin that they are holding was used in a transaction between publisher and advertiser, and this creates usage for the token that they are holding. So it's indirectly affecting them.
There's a question in the back.
Hi, so this is a bit like a decentralized widget or something like that, that the advertiser would have a space on a page that would sort of look for a wallet being exposed through something like MetaMask and the ID of what sort of an actor inside the blockchain you are, and that's sort of where you get the data for what sort of tokens they're currently holding and things like that. Is that correct?
I'm not sure I'm catching what
I guess I'm asking is, say you visited the Etherscan site and
Yep.
you didn't have something like MetaMask displaying a wallet endpoint,
Yep.
would you still see the ad, or is that
Yes.
ad only visible to people who are like connected to the Rinkeby node at that moment?
No, that's a plain old simple widget that is displaying always. You need MetaMask or other means to send a transaction to buy links on this widget. But to see it, it's displayed for all the people.
Okay, so it's not targeting specific people by the tokens they're interested in or something like that?
No, but the website they're visiting is probably about this token, so the attention that's gathered on this publisher website is related to this token. So displaying information on this website is actually targeting by token.
Gotcha. Thank you for clarifying that.
Maybe a final question, and that's at that side.
Yeah, I got one question.
Hello,
So
Michał.
essentially, you're saying that everyone can go to a page and without directly contacting the publisher or Google or anyone can buy an ad in a specific place on a specific page.
Yes.
And if so, is there any mechanism that would prevent stuff like spamming, swearing in ads, and displaying stuff that I don't want to display on my web page?
Yes, there's a mechanism that is built in link exchange. It's called whitelisting, and the publisher decides if he wants to allow this given link on his web page. So the publisher has the power to decide which links are there. He can leave the widget unwhitelisted, but then he might have trouble later.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you very much. Yeah,